37 King George and 114 Duke Gloucester are the only ones that'll take.
All good?
We're ready, go ahead.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking the time out of the day, or maybe you're just seeking respite from the heat in the air-conditioned City Hall. But we have a very busy agenda. I'm Will Scott. I'm the chairman of the Historic Preservation Commission, and so we will move as quickly and expeditiously as we can. But some of these issues, some of these applications are fairly complicated. So please, I ask for your patience as we move along. Will the other commissioners please introduce themselves for the record?
Bill Williams.
Cecil Cummins.
Mary Bannon.
Thank you. We do have a quorum, so we can proceed. Would the staff please introduce themselves?
John Tower, Chief of Historic Preservation.
Elizabeth Beckley, Assistant Chief of Historic Preservation.
And our attorney?
Cheryl Wood, counsel to the commission.
And our recording secretary.
Nikki Markey, recording secretary.
Great. We have a great team, and so I think we're ready to go. The first item on our agenda is announcements. Mr. Tower, do you have any announcements?
Well, ironically enough, I do. And the irony is that we have a violation. And it is at 114 Duke of Gloucester Street. There's parking in the rear. It's not approved.
And how does that affect our action on that application?
We're hearing the application, except the parking has been removed from the application. They were hearing the rest of their application, so the parking in the rear needs to be removed until it's approved.
So we're going to hear them, but we may not be able to approve it until that's remediated?
We're not going to hear the parking.
Okay. Good.
Did you all hear that? It's got to go.
Okay, but let's see, approval of minutes. We had 2 sets of minutes. Has everyone reviewed them? Does anyone have any corrections or additions?
On June 18th, the joint meeting, I don't know how critical it is, but myself, Mary, and you were present. Might be worthwhile adding us to the people who are present on the list.
That is very good. So is there a motion to approve with those corrections?
Motion to approve June 18th minutes with the corrections of the commissioners from HPC that were present for the joint meeting. Yeah, Cecil, Mary, and Will.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, Mr. Greeley has joined us. Would you briefly introduce yourself?
Okay.
Brennan Greeley on the commission.
Yeah, there you go. We're working on the minutes for the 25th.
And June 9th, I think.
Yeah. I didn't catch the date of our joint meeting was the 25th, wasn't it?
That was the 18th.
The 18th? Oh, okay. Have you reviewed the other minutes? Anybody else have any corrections or amendments? Is there a motion for approval for both of those minutes?
I move to approve
As drafted.
as drafted.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Thank you. All right. John, you did announce a violation under announcements, but is there anything else that you want to?
There are some, here's one announcement. For the commission's consideration, I was given a preliminary design for uplighting on the Hammond Harwood House. And the question is whether that can be reviewed administratively or because of its landmark status, if that should be reviewed in a public hearing. And It's an unusual application. I have concerns about it because it's not typical. It's atypical for the historic district. The other thing is, what time does it turn off? What time does it turn on? Are we going to have a facade that's constantly lit? There are other facades. I think next door to you, Mary, there's lighting on Pecos.
Past 9.
Not past 9.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right. So it's something to consider, and what I'll do is possibly distribute the preliminaries to the commission. This is an unusual situation. If we think that this requires public hearing, and I'm leaning toward that, just because it's so important.
Well, I think it's so important, and it's so, in such a obvious position in the community and the streets. Everybody who lives in Ward 1, everybody who comes to Annapolis to see our historic architecture will probably notice the change immediately. So I think the public should be able to weigh in. That would be my inclination.
Okay, well, I think it's already decided then.
Very good. Anything else?
Nothing that, let's say, jumps out, but looking forward to a recess.
You mean the month of August?
Yes.
Okay, everybody catch that. We don't meet in August. So that's all the more reason for us to try and give proper attention and time to all the items on tonight's agenda. Fortunately, despite how long it looks, a number of these items are really all from the city of Annapolis, and they're all intended to improve public safety and access around the streets of Annapolis. So is there a member of the city staff to present that? If you would make a brief presentation and try to roll them all into one, or we could consider them for the consent docket if the rest of the commission agrees.
All right, so you're asking, are you asking for what staff considers to be items that are appropriate for consent docket?
Yes.
I would say that especially those which have had no public comment.
This is one, or all of these are one.
So we've had no public comment on 89 East Street, but I'd like them to come up and we'll talk about a new possibility for their roof. We haven't had any public comment on 100 State Circle or the Prince George Street tree removal. So those two. And then we haven't had any public comment on 4 Church Circle.
Okay. So no public comment. We have staff if we would like to get any additional information, but I think the staff report was pretty clear.
I'll move to put 100 State Circle, 248 Prince George, and 4 Church Circle on the consent docket.
Does that cover all of them, John?
I'm double checking. Well, let's see. And then I'm going to contrast those with no public comment to those with a lot of public comment. So we have 114 Duke of Gloucester, 109 Duke of Gloucester. And they had copious public comment, and then we had public comment on 247 King George Street.
248?
247. It's 248 Prince George, 247 King George.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
100 State Circle, 248 Prince George, and 4 Church Circle, I think, could go to consent docket. That's what the motion for.
I have a question about 248 Prince George.
For the staff?
Probably not for the staff, maybe for the city representative. Are on, or is one of the trees already gone? One of the trees are gone. 2 additional trees? Wow.
It's a lot.
Is there any information on that available? Why they're being cut down?
So, Mary, I can also say that Elizabeth and I did have a door opened to us by a neighbor there, a resident there, and they showed us what the roots had done in the basement. It was impressive. The destruction was impressive. It had heaved the slab and cracked it. It's really too bad. If you read the staff report, you know, there was a tremendous amount of emphasis on planting trees. But trees that would not affect the sidewalk. Like, oh, okay.
Right, I mean, I know the one that is still there, that is like a mountain of its own. It's very treacherous. I wasn't sure what the other tree was. Is that on the other
Are you
side
clear
of the
now?
street?
Does she know now what the other one is?
They're all in that same.
And if, for what it's worth, Mary, I've tripped over all of them.
Yeah, I have two.
Okay. To follow our rules of procedure, is there any member of the public that wants to comment on these ADA improvements? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and we'll proceed to a vote. The motion was made. Was it seconded? Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to have to make sure that,
That was 100 State Circle, 248 Prince George, and 4 Church Circle.
aren't there more of them?
I think just those 3. Well, there's more addresses on the application for
Yes.
248 Prince George, but it's under one app.
Okay. All right. The next item of business then would be 100 State Circle? Oh, wait.
You did that one.
That was,
That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting hung up on.
we did that.
Okay.
Got 89 East, 109 Duke, 114 Duke, 247.
East. That's not on consent docket.
No, I think we're done with consent.
We
I was
just
saying
did one case on the consent docket, so now you
So
just
the
did,
motion was for those 3.
but the comment, he asked for public comments only on one, so you have to do public comments for each, and you have to vote for each one separately.
Okay. So,
Even for the consent docket?
Unless you want to ask for public comments altogether, but you said ADA, so if anyone's confused, you want public comments for all 3 matters that are on the consent docket.
How many of these are there? I was confused when
3.
why does it keep referring to, am I being
I think
confused
4
about this?
Church Circle is not the ADA thing. That was one that didn't have.
That was
public-
number 1, right?
Yeah. So I guess the ADA would apply to 100 State Circle and 248 Prince George. So motion to move 4 Church Circle to the consent docket.
Second.
The consent document, you just have to ask if there's any public comment and then vote on it.
My apologies.
Yeah. Is there any public comment? I know this is tedious for all of us, but we're trying to do it right. Okay? Motion made and seconded. No public comment? All in favor? Aye.
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 Have we crossed our Ts and dotted our Is? Okay. So does that take us to 114?
Takes us to 248 Prince George.
247?
248.
248 Prince George.
Yes, the removing of the trees.
My apologies. I thought that was under.
Yeah, I did too. No need to apologize. Are there any questions of the staff? I think Ms. Bannon asked a question. Is any other question?
No.
Are there any members of the public who have a question about the tree removals? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve?
Approve.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. All right. It looks like, yes, it looks like we're at 114?
89 East.
Under old business, Mr. Chair.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's under old business?
Yeah.
Then we're going to,
Under G. It's the first.
oh. 89 East Street, thank you. I know you were getting impatient, and so was I, so anyway.
Thank you for emailing everything over as well. It was helpful.
Yeah. But I'm afraid it arrived too late for our due consideration.
Well, I've met with the applicants, and I think we've come to an understanding, so I'm going to let them speak.
Okay, very good.
So when we were here last time, the commission asked us to get outside independent experts.
Yes.
We got 4 to analyze our roof from different aspects. The primary one is the first one we sent over to you, which is the Building Envelope Consultants and Scientists out of their headquarters in Baltimore, but they're a nationwide firm, widely regarded. They sent over a team of 3 people, architect and 2 roofing engineers, to look at our house, and we provided that report. Their consensus was that the roof was not able to support an Acromax coating. The rust and deterioration was too severe. They identified scaling where the rust was so prominent that it had flaked off and greatly thinned the surface width of the metal. Ripping and tearing because of the rust along the edges. The report goes on and on with that. They also identified something that we didn't bring up last time, which is because of the rust and corrosion, we showed a picture of nails being forced out of the roof last time. They were able to determine that that was because the old shingle roof underneath it is so degraded and deteriorating that the metal roof can't be attached to the substrate underneath it anymore. So the panels are loose and they will shift around on the metal roof. And so they said that was another reason why a coating was not a suitable alternative. And so their recommendation was removal of the existing metal roof, verifying the substrate underneath it, doing the type of work and repair that needs to be done for a suitable substrate, and then applying a new metal roof, Freedom Gray metal roof was their recommendation. And that was what we talked with John Tower about ahead of this.
Right, and with the condition that the Freedom Gray roof replacement be painted within a year.
That's agreeable to you.
That's perfectly agreeable to us. Our position all along was we just wanted the proper new roof put on the roof, so that's on the house, so that's
Okay.
fantastic.
Well, thank you for your comments. Just to make sure that we're on the record properly, raise your right hand, please.
Sorry.
Did the information you just shared, is that true to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to say anything else?
I would save the commission time. I'm happy to go through all 4 evaluations. We've submitted those to you, but I don't want to burden you.
Yeah, they arrived technically too late, but your comments suffice. They take the place of that.
This is going to be handled as an administrative approval,
Oh, okay, so we will.
because it's a change of specification that we don't actually have in the record, and
So is our motion to approve the appeal subject to the administrative approval?
I think that sounds good.
Motion to approve the appeal?
Wait.
The application?
Oh, okay.
Wait, we have to ask if there's any public comment. That's Is there any public comment on this application? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Now we have a motion.
Motion to approve the application for the administrative approval of the new roof, subject to
Painting.
John Tower, I guess.
Paint within a year.
Yes.
Well, we say that because I wasn't
That's
sure,
fine.
because it does say appeal. I just want to, but whatever, you tell me, I don't care.
Yeah, that's why we have an attorney.
Oh, well, they were appealing, so you're right, Commissioner Cummings. They were appealing the administrative decision denying approval. That's all been worked out. So if they withdraw their appeal, then we're fine. We don't need to do a motion. I mean, if you all have worked everything out, then
So
you
we
could
just
withdraw your
our appeal.
appeal.
We submit the new application with the Freedom Gray.
I think you could even revise it. I'll find out. I'll know tomorrow.
But the appeal should be withdrawn because you guys have worked it out. It's no longer a denial, right?
Right.
Okay.
We withdraw.
Something formal we need to do to?
No,
withdraw- okay.
just say it on the
Okay.
record.
Yeah, you're on the record.
We withdraw.
Thank you.
Withdraw our appeal.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad we
Thank
could
you
work
all.
that out. Okay. 109 Duke of Gloucester Street, St. Mary's Parish, Living Shoreline.
I'll be in touch. Thank you.
Good to see you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please identify yourselves.
Kevin Devine with the Redemptorist Fathers.
Pat Mulligan with St. Mary's.
Dustin Smith with Quinn Evans Architects.
Your right hand, please. Is the testimony you're about to give true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, begin, please.
So I'm not sure how the slides work. We have a few slides, but I promise you we have more slides than it will take minutes to go through them. You will get a very abbreviated version in light
Okay.
of,
Yeah,
in
we're
light of
pretty,
your time
we're pretty
constraints.
familiar.
I would certainly hope so. So we just operated from, good. We put the youngest one in front of the screen too, so.
That's what I would do.
So our goal really today is simply to recap what we have shared with you 2 months ago regarding the property, had your support finding it feasible to go to a formal vote on this project. There was really only one new item that came up, which we'll touch on in this brief presentation. And then I will go through it simply to refresh your memory and certainly address any additional questions that you might have. Along with our historic architect and Pat Mulligan, who has been a key driver on this project now for 9 years, we have the rest of our team here, the design engineer, the project manager that did all the work on this, as well as the historian for St. Mary's Church for many, many years, Mr. Robert Warden. So if there are questions that go beyond our ability to address, they're happy to chime in as well if we get into any technical issues. So what you see just on this first slide is really what we're dealing with today, a representation of what we're dealing with today and the severity of the problem. The worst area of the existing bulkhead is depicted in that lower photo. You can't see the bulkhead in the upper picture. That was after a rain event earlier. I believe that was this year. It might have been last year. But we have consistently had problems where the waters have gone over top of the existing bulkhead. But that the bow in the bulkhead that you're seeing there is now listing as much as 20 to 25 degrees out of plumb, which obviously puts it in a significant amount of jeopardy. There are a number of reasons why I thought I got a free laptop when we presented here.
Every 7 visits, you get a free one.
I think we might have hit that, Pat. Can you confirm?
How many visits?
7 visits, you get a free laptop.
Oh.
I believe, not me, but I think Pat has.
There is a cord to a laptop here. That is.
Okay. So why we have to act now, and this is an issue that we had really had to navigate very thoroughly with the harbor master and the port wardens. While they were extremely pleased with the design, the construction design for this project, they had real concerns about our desire to proceed with the project immediately. Following our previous hearing in April with the port wardens, where we received a no vote, we met with the harbor master, we met with the mayor's office, we ironed out an agreement. They had a much better understanding of the urgency for proceeding with this project and a timeline. We put together an agreement. We presented to the Port Wardens Board last week and received a favorable approval. I would add to that favorable approval, their comments on the design were really stellar. They were very impressed with what we planned. Their only concern really was with the timing during the heavy boating season. But they recognized the urgency, thus the approval that we got from them. So you're it. You're the last ones we have to talk to. But the rapid deterioration that has really accelerated over the last couple of years is what's necessitating the urgency. If we are in a position where we have a catastrophic failure of this wall, which, again, as we see this failure continue, the whole design we have has to go away. The engineering on it has to be totally revamped. The likelihood that we would come back to a living shoreline is fairly unlikely, simply because the cost of it would be exponentially higher. We're already making, and when I say we, I mean the Redemptorist fathers who are owners of the property. Not incidentally, we've owned the property for longer than the Carroll family has owned the property, since 1853, I think, Robert, 1852. But our financial commitment from both the parish of St. Mary's and the Redemptorist fathers, when we're all done, will be in excess of $2 million. And unfortunately, we have not been able to secure grant funding for that, so that's coming out of our pockets. The big driver, one of the big drivers on the necessity to act promptly is the permitting that we have from MDE and the Army Corps of Engineers. And I quoted in here from the USACE permit that says, the limits during which we can do construction are from June 15th until October 31st. And that's in order to protect the habitat of the short-nosed sturgeon and spawning fish. So our goal is to begin this project as soon as we possibly can, as early as potentially next week, with the hope that we have the approval from this body. And we will have it completed, at least the waterside component of the project completed before the fall boat show. That's part of the commitment that we made to the city and to the harbor master, and we see no reason that we can't meet that obligation. The next slide just demonstrates to you the limit of disturbance in the area that we'll be working. The majority of the heavy work, all of the heavy work requiring equipment, heavy equipment, is to be done from the water side. We will be putting about 650 tons of rock revetment in front of the existing bulkhead, wooden bulkhead. That bulkhead will not be taken out. It will not be changed in any way. The existing bow will remain as it is. To excavate it is to risk failure. So the 650 tons will be set in there. In excess of 500 bushels of oyster spat will be added to that as a habitat for fish, other native species. Behind the rock revetment and directly behind the wooden bulkhead, we will have an area of native grasses that are going to be planted. We show that, I think, on the next slide. We talk about the specific native grasses that will be planted on this. The recommendations on those plant materials were really based on looking for species that don't exceed 24 inches of root depth, because those grasses will be planted over top of or very close in proximity to the historic seawall. And we don't want those root systems to impact what is currently underground. And it's also intended to maintain the visual continuity of the living shoreline and differentiate it from the historic component. Also included in this slide, which we had not talked about formally before, is the maintenance plan. So behind the native grasses will be just grass, lawn area. There will be a stone design component, which I'll touch on, but it will be grass area behind those native species. Our maintenance plan on that is simply a regular bi-weekly or weekly mowing as needs, as the need arises of that grass area. That will be maintained by our staff on the grounds of St. Mary's. And then the native grasses that would be planted, the maintenance schedule calls for an annual mowing of those grasses down to a height of about 4 to 6 inches. I think, if I recall correctly, we were going to do that. We're going to do that in the winter months or spring months, just before spring hits. is what was defined as the optimal time to do that once-a-year mowing schedule. The next slide here shows a depiction, and these are ones we shared with you before, the assortment of plants that we anticipating putting into this location. We have worked out the spacing, how all of that will be done. That design is just about finalized on that piece of it. The next slide depicts what I mentioned, the stone interpretation band. If you recall, what we had, our historic architect had suggested was a band of stone that looks very similar to the original stone that is in the historic wall. We have that depicted later in this slide presentation, but that interpretation or interpretive band is to be about 12 inches wide. It will run about 450 feet. It's not necessarily intended to be a walking path, but it's designed to essentially follow the location of the existing historic seawall. And it's really designed for interpretive purposes only. You can see on this slide, again, I think it reinforces what I was describing to you about the stone revetment, the timber bulkhead that exists, and then the proposed living shoreline planting, which is the native species, and then the lawn area itself, including the stone interpretive band and the existing boxwoods that are on the property now, which have been there for many, many years. The next slide depicts the proposed stone that we have been able to source, and you can see the similarity in coloration and to some extent texture and size of that stone as it relates to the historic wall. On this slide, we talked to you previously about the proposed wayside markers. It is our intent to put 2 wayside markers, one right on the property, right by the stone interpretive band, which we will use to describe what's happening in that area, give some historical context to what folks would be looking at, and then a second wayside, which, if approved, because it would be on city property, you can see that on the entryway going on the Spa Creek Bridge. So both of those are intended to be used in full descriptions. We're working out the details on the language on that, but with our historian from St. Mary's, we're confident that we can come up with wording that's going to be very appropriate for this. You think so?
Yes, I've known Dr. Warden for some time.
Location, this slide just depicts specifically the location of that marker and a rendering of what the marker would actually look like. What we envision is an aluminum framed structure tilted at a 45-degree angle with some kind of a polycarbonate material on top to put the verbiage and the photos that would be weather, sun resistant, with, again, the appropriate language on there.
A question of the staff. I'm sorry to interrupt. Can that be approved administratively?
Yes, they're both signs.
Yeah.
So so 2 things. One, it can be approved administratively, and secondly, you would need a sign permit after HPC approval.
Okay. The next slide is really the new piece that we were advised of by staff to consider the use of the 2 stones that you see depicted in the photo here. These stones are actually from the original historic wall. If you look to that photo on the right, the stones were pulled from the wall in roughly that location that's depicted on that slide on the right. They were pulled at the time the bulkhead was installed about 50 years ago, with the thinking that when the bulkhead was installed, these 2 stones protruded from the historic seawall. The thought was they might be lost. They were pulled, they were placed there. They're placed in very close proximity to the location you see on the right as they sit today. Our thought was to leave them in that area and reference those historic stones, which are truly part of the wall, in the documentation that we have on the wayside markers. And the second to last slide just shows the location specifically for wayside marker number 2. See a depiction of that on the last slide as well. And with that, I think we did less minutes than we had slides, and I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
When I give a slide talk, I allow myself 2 minutes, and I usually take 5 per slide. So I congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
Are there any questions for the applicant or any member of their team?
I've got a small one. The wayside signs that you're depicting on the current sidewalk, I walk that sidewalk quite a bit. It gets a little tight down there. So if it's inside the wall or inside the railing there, it's going to cut down that sidewalk width even more. Is there some way to, say, put it on top of the current wall?
I would suggest that there's probably a number of alternatives. Because it's not our property, a decision on the location for that would really be up to the city. But we're amenable to that concept, certainly.
Okay, so you're not proposing a specific design that you had in mind?
No, we're simply depicting kind of the view shed of where that sign would be and what you'll see as you look towards our property.
That will be approved administratively later, the sign permit.
Right, so I can't say that that actually is city property. That might be state property there. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
For all intents and purposes,
Nice pun, John.
having a sign there can be administratively approved, through a sign permit later, so we don't have to worry
Yes.
about
No.
that for this.
And today, we're approving the intent to have a sign,
Yeah.
and that seems like roughly the right location.
Yeah, and we're committed to doing the sign as long as those approvals are granted by somebody other than us.
Any other questions?
Thank you for your perseverance.
This has been our stalwart. I've only been in it for 3 years. Dustin has been around for a year in consultancy.
One more question.
Yes.
Will she be retiring, or are you going to keep her on for the next project?
I work for free. I won't retire.
Yeah, then
We bought her dinner tonight. I think that may be good for at least during the construction period.
Maybe one of the conditions, for fun, should be referencing all of your work on those plaques. Make a footnote for that, for the record.
Pat is mentioned in the staff report.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Pat has been a stalwart, and we're certainly grateful for that.
John, do you want to add anything?
Well, I have to say, I am sad that we are returning the St. Mary's shoreline to the sea, because that's really what we're doing here. But things are changing, and as much as I would like to see the Carroll seawall and the cultural landscape restored, that's not what this application is about. This application is about preserving what they have at the shore and trying to work with the resources that are currently there in order to stabilize for rising sea levels, which is significant. We have a whole project at City Hall that's devoted to, or let's say devoted as an ancillary interest. First, Maritime Welcome Center, then resilience. But in this case, this is about creating resilience. So for me, it feels a bit like funeral. And I've said as much, but I am reluctant to say that I'm going to recommend approval, but I do. because I don't know what the alternative is. And I've got many calls today saying, don't do it, don't do it. This should basically be used as a negotiating tool to get St. Mary's to focus on the cultural landscape. You all knew this was coming, right? But that's not what we're voting on. That's not what you are voting on. You're voting on something completely different. And I'd love to see more done to elevate the prominence of the only Catholic signer of the Declaration of Independence, his 250-year-old seawall, which was buried 50 years ago and is going to be represented at grade, but not really above. I'm hoping against hope that someone steps forward as a benefactor and says, gosh, this really makes sense. 250 years, signer of the Declaration of Independence, someone who put his neck on the line for the independence of this country. We should honor his landscape. But I know that this is based on funds available also. So, I'm sorry you all want to leave the two stones where they are. I've said all I need to say, but you know where my heart is. My heart is going, phew. The Charles Carroll landscape is going back to the sea, which is the whole point of his landscape. He was working against the elements. He was redefining the elements. It was Charles Carroll's view that he could hold back the sea. He did a lot of things, but that was one of them. Enslaved people, indentured people built that wall. It's still there. I think we ought to honor it. I think we ought to honor Charles Carroll, but that's not the application tonight.
Very nicely said. Are there any questions, Mr. Tower, from the commissioners? Okay, are there any members of the public that wish to speak to this application? Please identify yourself.
My name is Robert Worden.
If the red light is on, it's working.
It sounded like it was.
It sounded like it was, but
You have to speak to have it go
it
on.
must need a battery. Nope. No, we're going to get him hooked up properly. Mr. Worden, you're welcome to sit or stand. We've got a battery now.
Whatever you choose.
Mr. Worden,
Robert Worden, and between 1978...
excuse me, before you go further, please raise your right hand. Did you testify that the information you're about to share is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you.
Continue to play that role today. And I've been co-author of, I was the co-author of the 1987-1990 Carroll House Archaeology Report, and I published 2 books on the history of the Carroll House St. Mary's property and the parish church and so forth. And I've been consulting with the St. Mary's Environmental Stewardship Committee on living shoreline since 2019. There's always been an erosion problem along the waterfront of Charles Carroll's Spa Creek property. And the solution adopted in 1770 was to build a 435-foot-long sandstone retaining wall, several feet out into the creek. And then the wall was backfilled with soil brought down from the gardens he was terracing. It was originally just a sloping grade down to the water. So he wanted to make beautiful terraces we still have today. So that backfill is used to create that lower terrace. The work was completed by 1776. By the 1970s, we're jumping ahead 200 years, the wall was largely still intact, but increasingly eroded. And there were gaps between some of the seawall stones, and they were filled with miscellaneous stones and concrete rubble found around the parish property. And I think you said there was a slide, maybe we could back up on that. There's a nice slide of photograph taken in 1982. Keep going, keep going, keep going, there, that was it, with the dog, yeah. Okay, that's a very nice depiction of the wall as it looked in 1982. And that part is a little higher than other parts because that's where there was a summer house originally. I spent a lot of time down that wall in between working around the house, and it was a very pleasant place to be. Is on the water, and you had those days you could actually see forest on Eastport and so forth. But there were water grasses, volunteered water grasses growing up in the gaps and there were ducks and water snakes and other critters inhabited that wall. It really, before the bulkhead went in, it really was already a living shoreline. And I just loved being there and the ambiance of that space. But the erosion continued, so it was decided in 1982 to construct the wooden bulkhead around the entire 675-foot waterfront, so down to where it turns and over, meeting up with the end of Shipwright Street. At that time, there was concern that there were two large architecturally carved stones that you can see right where the dog is. That was Kevin, the dog, the German Shepherd. And then go to behind his tail, two stones set in, then another stone that's slanting out over the water. And there was an octagonal summer house built over that, and they supported that. You could be out over the water. And I don't know if they had a hole in the floor you could put your line down or what. We don't know much about those summer houses. But that was at the far east end of the wall. At my request, because of concern by a former employee of the Maryland Historical Trust who had spotted these stones, we were concerned the bulkhead might have somehow compromised those overhanging stones. It turned out that it didn't, but we didn't know that at the time. So those stones were pulled up and put over where you saw another photograph, literally just feet from where they were historically. And during the summers of 1987 to 1991, there was a 5-year program of archaeology carried out at the Carroll Gardens and the house by Archaeology Annapolis, which you know is a cooperative program between the University of Maryland and Historic Annapolis. And excavations were made. One of their projects was, one of their units was to get down behind that wall, they wanted to discover what was the original beach behind that wall. And they actually did find that original beach. And every day they would dig down and they'd study it and they'd come back the next day to excavate some more. Well, the water would fill and infiltrate under the bulkhead and in between the stones. So they had to kind of pump out or bail that out every day. And the bulkhead has continued to show its age by the early 2010s, and the degradation accelerated in the late 2010s, which is why Pat here got so involved with it. And the decision to make a living shoreline along this is a solution. And I feel that this living shoreline is going to actually return the waterfront approximately to the way it may have looked, more or less, pre-1770, before the wall went in, when it was just a shoreline, a land that cascaded, sloped down to the water. There probably were grasses, there were probably the critters living there. So it may historically, maybe prehistorically, John, it's going to get back to that appearance. And we do know the wall is behind there, it's preserved, it's not going anywhere, definitely not going anywhere, but it's still there. And we live in hope. I live in hope. Probably not in my lifetime, that bulkhead degrades, maybe some of that wall is going to appear again. It's conceivable. So this proposal this project's been in the works for 7 years. It's undergone numerous modifications to satisfy the requirements of various governmental, city, state, federal, who knows what else. Now in 2026, I go down there. I was down there as recently as several hours ago. A catastrophic failure of that wall could happen. We don't have a hurricane season yet, but we might. If that bulkhead could continue to degrade and actually collapse, and without the living shoreline solution installed now, such a failure will likely lead to further erosion of the seawall itself, the historic seawall, and result in undermining the terrace gardens and create basically an environmental crisis on Spa Creek. So I respectfully and urgently request that the members of the commission approve the St. Mary's living shoreline. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to.
Questions of the speaker? Thank you very much. Very helpful in considering
Do
this.
you want the sign-in sheet? Do you want me to do the sign-in sheet? Yeah, okay.
Is there any other member of the public that wishes to speak about this application? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Staff, did you want to make a final comment? You were very eloquent a few moments ago.
Do what you think is best, and do what you think is best for the guidelines, and do what you think is best for one of the most important viewscapes in the city. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioners?
I just want to make a comment, kind of, the way I look at this is two different components, a resilient component and a cultural landscape component. I think from a resilient component, you all knocked it out of the park. I think that's been solidified, for a long time. And, hopefully here tonight, we'll be able to push that one forward. And I think for the cultural landscape, there was a lot of comments that we had over several meetings that I've been a part of, and I know it was even years before there. And I think, there was a lot of concerns brought for the meetings that I was a part of, excuse me. And I think that you all did a phenomenal job addressing the cultural landscape. While I completely understand, where you're coming from, Mr. Tower, I do feel that the information you all provided from engineers, from studies, showed that the feasibility of trying to excavate that wall and be able to expose it was not feasible, I guess, is the right way to say it, for a couple of reasons. One, because it would take a lot more money, but two, because even if that money was there and spent, there was no guarantee that that wall would be able to be saved. And so for me, I don't think it's appropriate for us to require that or hold back. And I think that the concerns that were presented on the cultural landscape were addressed to the best of their ability. I will say, to your comment on the benefactor, I think the resilient thing is the most important. I think we want to approve. I personally have the opinion I would like to approve the cultural landscape, but maybe after this is approved, maybe the city can be a benefactor, or maybe some other benefactor can come in and say, hey, I'd love to invest. And it doesn't sound like to me that excavation or further cultural landscape work would be restricted moving forward. So maybe that's always a possibility that could be on the table. But I think, to your point, it needs to happen. Something needs to happen. And so I want to say thank you for addressing the cultural landscape comments. I think you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
Other commissioners? Ms. Bannon?
I agree. I think you've done a wonderful job in the year and a half that I've been involved in seeing the iterations, and you've addressed, I think, as many concerns as you could. And I think to do nothing will be devastating. And then you'll be in a terrible position. So
Thank you.
I appreciate your work.
Mr. Greeley, would you like to comment?
I think you've done such a thorough job of looking through all of the alternatives. And speaking as someone who's regularly in archives that I need that have disappeared because somebody in 1850 burned them because they didn't think they were going to be necessary, I think we have to recognize the distinction between, seriously, just burn them. Just not important anymore. The distinction between losing something of cultural significance and historical significance out of neglect and out of indifference, and losing it because there are no alternatives, because all of the alternatives have been explored, and this is the one that we are left with that is affordable and sustainable. And I think you guys have made a compelling case that that's where we are. So I think we can sort of understand the regret at the inability to expose the wall, and also understand that all the possible care has been taken to explore all the possibilities, and this is the one that we're left with. I feel comfortable making that decision now, given the thoroughness of the presentation. I also think the thoroughness and the succinctness of the presentation means that you would fail in any academic environment, which speaks highly for you.
As an academic, I find that very humorous. Okay. Mr. Williams, would you please give us your thoughts?
I'm trying to put them together so they don't sound like just rambling. The gentleman who spoke, and I apologize, sir. Mr. Warden, I apologize. He pointed out that the two stones were possibly a support for some of the water structures that were down there. There's many of old photos that show what look like boathouses or summer houses or something that were off the wall. I'm just saying if those stones could be used as an interpretive element to locate where one or two of those facilities were and tie them back to an old photo so people could get a relationship of where things existed and how they feel in the landscape. It's just a thought so those stones just don't go back in the corner and be lost to time again. I appreciate everything you've done. I think it's in a good position. And basically, only time will tell. Give it another 100 years and someone else may come in and go, oh, we got a better idea.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll just make a very brief comment. I've said before how much I feel attached as a non-native Annapolitan, but somebody who's lived here since 1979 to that very view, because it is so still intact as Mr. Carroll created it. But I think that we've heard enough about how the risk is too high. I think Mr. Cummings alluded to that specifically. If we do nothing, by neglect, it may crumble away and not be saved. So since the staff recommends approval, even if it's grudgingly, I too feel that it's time. It's time for us to do something, and maybe in the future something better can be done to restore some of the cultural landscape. So, is there a motion?
I make the motion to approve the direction that they're going and the project in general,
And that is with
with comments and
the staff's recommendations
recommendations, yes,
and analysis.
yes.
Okay. Any further discussion? Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye?
Aye.
Well, I hate to say it, but I hope I don't see you anytime soon.
Believe me, the feeling is mutual. But we do look forward to working with you.
Happy to be the benefactor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Now, the next item on our agenda is of great interest to, I think, most of us that are still in the room.
He's not actually a.
Mother divine.
I still like
Anyone who's representing 114 Duke of Gloucester, please come forward. Gentlemen, it's good to see you again, but you're a long way from the 7 appearances to get your free laptop.
Thanks for having us back.
Are there microphones on? It should be. Okay. Yes, please identify yourselves first.
Good evening. I'm Michael Ogle with ABS Architects. I'm Mark Hall with Realistic Builders.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Is the information you're about to share true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Good evening. Thank you for having us before the Preservation Commission. My name is Michael Ogle, ABS Architects, the applicant. Here with Mark Hall. We will be discussing the Underwoods project tonight. Our project is located at 114 Duke of Gloucester Street, also known as Rideout Row, and we're the left-end unit or the west unit of the three units on the triplex. We are requesting approval on 8 items. We have actually reduced it down to 7. We nixed one. We cut one of the items out.
Which was?
Which was the parking in the rear, and probably the biggest ask or request to the commission. So we have eliminated that from the application. We would not like to discuss that tonight.
Just let me interrupt you for a minute. Can the applicant remove something on the spot?
Yes.
Very good.
I think it was removed beforehand too, and it's
I just wanted to make sure that we're still proceeding properly. Please.
I have revised the drawings and sent them to Mr. Tower and the commission. I have provided you with hard copies of the revised drawings. And it shows the rear parking area has been eliminated from the application. And what we're left with is the front gate that was originally a gate and a fence that separated the front driveway from the sidewalk of Duke of Gloucester Street. It was removed partially recently, but I think the gate portion, the operable part, was removed years ago. Looks like a part of it broke on the hinge. We would like to put
Are you going to show any slides this evening?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody is familiar with what it is you're referring. We've heard it before, so we're okay, but I think everybody else needs to see it.
The front of Rideout Row, circa 1773. You can see the fence on the far left. It's sort of blocked by the tree. There we have the full fence and gate. We are at 2019, and you can see that there is a 2-lane portion and then a section of straight fence that then takes an angle and connects to an existing bollard or post as part of the stoops handrail. Better picture of the gate closed and how it was fastened to a neighboring post on the left side. And that's where the hinge broke. Looks like it just snapped off. We believe that's what caused the gate to be removed in the first place. There was a portion of fence there that was removed during recent construction, and that's in front of the planter box, which is also in discussion tonight. So there's basically a 2-part problem in the front. Those 2 items somewhat go together. They were both had to be removed to address problems from a large tree that was on the front of the street of Duke of Gloucester, and it caused quite a bit of damage. And the mitigation of the roots and being able to get back underneath of that planter to existing foundations was critical to prevent foundation damage. And so the planter box was removed. We would prefer not to put that back. And when we have requested for an expansion to the driveway paving in place of that square planter, and you can see it there. It's been demolished. This photo is from 2019, and there's the tree in front that caused all the trouble. This is what it looks like today. So this is a after-the-fact request. You can see that the driveway has been put back, and the brick-walled planter has been replaced with a wooden planter. And we are requesting approval as currently after the fact. And we would like to is currently. The next item is a rear landing at this basement door. This area has a exit out of the basement exercise room, and it just has sod there now. And we would like to put down a series of pavers. Pavers that would add a landing in front of the door and connect some patios that are nearby. Skipped one. Similar to these bluestones here that were original, and they are a little smaller in our request. We're asking for 24 by 24 flame bluestone pavers to be set in front of that door in a pattern, and to pull these bluestone pavers up, and they will not be used. I don't believe, again, or historical in nature. Another view. Now you see there that at the end of the driveway, there's some gravel spilling out in front of those existing bluestone pavers. This is where we would like to add our new pavers to meet that driveway, so the owners can walk from the driveway to the door without stepping in mud or dirt. Somewhat of what it will look. We want to increase these pavers here. Those are, I believe, the same pavers you saw that were taken up and just used briefly, just to keep the mud out of the house and have the owners be able to walk around a little bit back there. There will be a bigger pattern, and I will show you the plans if you would like. Our next item is a hot tub spa installation at the lower level porch. So back behind that window, way in the back, there's a corner of an old porch or loggia under the upper sunroom. So we're on the basement level, we're at the backyard, and we would like to install the hot tub here in the corner. It's a 6-person hot tub, it's modern, and we would like to set it on top of a base that would sit on the brick. Now, the brick is historic in nature, and has been a discussion in how the hot tub would affect the brick if the tub were placed there. We've drawn a detail, and we think we've come up with a nice pad. It's a layered pad that would put plastic over this brick and then layer concrete or mortar over the plastic, and then we would set a frame on top of the concrete with plywood and a membrane, and then the hot tub. So
Can you talk about drainage?
well, the tub itself, you mean emptying the tub or
We
to,
received several public comments with concerns about its location and proximity to the neighboring property and how drainage or overflow of water with chemicals could cause a problem in numerous ways. I'm curious to understand what the plans are.
well, it would be backed up into the wall, into the corner. So
I guess, is there a plan for any water overflow and where that might go?
No. We do want to explore a chemical-free tub so that it would just be plain water, warm water, that would overflow if it did. However, we have not come up with some sort of platform beyond the tub that would create, say, a mat or drainage system mat to collect water that would come out of the tub. It is a utility sort of space, and it's an open porch. It's not closed in. So there are, there's weather that blows in there.
So if you're going to put plastic down, then concrete, then wood platform, I mean, is the applicant open to exploring ideas about drainage from overflow? Because it seems like most of the concerns are what could happen if water overflows, which will happen, of course, and how that could impact the foundation of the brick of the surrounding property and potentially chemicals, which you address. I mean, has there been a discussion on that?
Not really, but we could examine that further. The weight of the tub should not be a problem. We don't expect a lot of water to be coming out of the tub. When someone exits, possibly there would be some water, but they would be exiting forward away from the party wall. So it's not that it's a swimming pool or anything and there's splashing and overflow like that. There's going to be water where the people exit the tub onto the brick. But the brick gets wet already when there's a driving rain or any blowing weather. There are open spaces between the columns that support the porch, right next to that wall.
Mr. Ogle? Were you, okay, Mr. Ogle, I have another question, though. I'm also concerned about the brick. Our guidelines advise us to be very careful about obscuring any historically significant material part of the historic district. So this is rather unusual and early brick made probably by enslaved or indentured people. It's part of the cultural landscape of some significance. It sounds like you're going to obscure this forever at the best.
We will obscure only a portion of it in the corner. The tub is about 6 feet by 6 feet, and it would occupy only a portion of the entire brick. So there is a lot of brick left to see, and it's all of the same character.
How many people are supposed to be comfortable in this tub?
It's a 6-person tub, rated up to 6 people.
Okay.
Let's see.
Can I add something? So everything that we're going to do below the hot tub would be removable, not permanent. It's something that can be undone.
Well, but my point is that our guidelines caution us about even obscuring and hiding something like that.
Understood.
So that's great that you're proposing that. That's a little better than digging it up and, putting it into the ground.
I just have to go back to this photo, which shows it far back into a private area of the residence. You would have to walk down the driveway, peer through this window, or come up through the backyard and go into the porch and look to get a view of the tub, the brick, or any of that. It's a very private area.
Understood. But
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is that the guidelines, this is one of the most important historical structures that still survives in a very fine condition. And our guidelines caution us not to damage or obscure any part of that existing structure if we can avoid it. So I'm just telling you, the bar is way up here.
I think predicated because of so many comments on that specifically. I mean, it's a pretty large backyard, did the applicant explore putting the putting the hot tub in a different location? I understand privacy might be a concern, but there's mitigating factors.
Yeah, it seems like, it seems like the spaces to move it somewhere else are limited, again, because of the size, and it's hard to find a very private area in the backyard, and also not to upset any neighbors. That would be, we would have to screen it, which is creating more infrastructure.
Is this a shared backyard, out of curiosity? I apologize, I've never been in the backyard.
Well, no, it's not shared. It's fenced. It's fenced. And they're individually landscaped, so they're private. But we would have to provide some sort of screening around it to make it tolerable to neighbors and to the homeowners.
It sounds like neighbors might prefer that it moved in a different part of the backyard with screening as opposed, but I mean, and we don't have to belabor that point. I think you've answered the questions that I had specifically, so I don't know. So, on the hot tub specifically, but.
Yeah, can you explain what would have to happen to make the hot tub reversible? Because if I understand, there was a plastic layer and then a concrete footer, and then they're sitting. It sounds like it's not insignificant if it were to be reversed.
Yes, it's basically a pad of layers, and what is directly over the brick is a 10 mil thick plastic that should protect the brick from being in contact and making any adherence or the concrete making any grip onto the brick. So there would be a complete separation by the plastic from the brick. In other words, the concrete would mold around the existing brick floor over the plastic mill.
But you'd have to chip up a concrete pad to remove it.
It's pretty thin. It's
Okay.
not like you have to beat it up with sledgehammers or anything. It'll just crack up. It's basically a leveling compound to get us a flat spot to work on.
But the brick, those old bricks are often much softer than modern brick. So I'm concerned about, 2,000 pounds of water or whatever it is sitting on top of that, even with the concrete.
And has this plastic and then the concrete pad been used before in historic applications where it has to be reversible?
I've certainly torn out a lot of things like it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
If I could ask you to turn to sheet SP 102, you will see the detail. It is there, which describes the layering and shows the brick. I don't have that image put on the screen at the moment, but it's in your copy in your set. It's SP 102, middle of the page down low. There's a bubble mark revision around it.
Where you show the hot tub in the drawings, so was there currently a door there in your picture?
Yes.
Does that door go away? Or? Yeah.
Yes, that door mark, what would your plan be for that door?
The hot tub doesn't affect the door. You just won't be able to use it.
We could reverse the swing.
We could reverse the swing, but I think we just leave it alone, and we have access under the stairs to get into that area. So the door would remain, we just wouldn't open and close it.
Okay, so it would fully block that door?
Yes, yes.
And I'm not a hot tub user, so excuse my ignorance here.
Go ahead.
Is there no option to build a platform above the bricks, like where you actually have air and a crawl space and
Yes.
flow?
There could be an option for that.
I think we could change the detailing of the platform to allow more air. There was thought of just putting a wood frame down, a treated wood frame, and setting the tub on that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that would be more preferable, more advantageous to the brick and to everyone's thoughts here
That feels a lot
than
more
laying that
Yeah.
on the brick.
Yeah.
And the ceiling height is high enough here that you could build it up off the bricks?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We have about 9.
I was to that point. I am a hot tub user. I love hot tubs. But I think that there's a lot here on comments. There's a lot of components of the hot tub based on the existing plan. And so I don't know that I would have the ability right now to be able to say anything in favor of the hot tub. And I don't know if you want to withdraw that component or not as well with the parking. But it seems like the parking lot, which was removed, and the hot tub are the hot button issues. I think the chimney, there were some comments, but I think everything else might be a lot easier to get through. But that's just my thoughts for you all.
I'm getting to the chimney later.
Points well taken. In mind to remove it if the opposition was a little too stiff. So we would like to remove the hot tub at this point from the application.
Do you want me to jump in on the chimney now?
Well, I'd be curious to hear more on it.
Jump in the hot tub.
Yes, I used to be a more frequent user of hot tubs, but
All right, I didn't mean to start this.
Did I miss you guys talking about the chimney? You mentioned something.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, okay.
We're number 5, which is trim back the edge of an existing brick patio. There it is in front of the units. There's a section of circular patio that we can see it there. The arrow mark points to it. There's an edge to that circular patio that we just need to trim back in order to get some screen plantings in to hide that utility equipment, which also had a screen, a fence, a plank fence built in front of it. And there are plantings that go in front of the fence. So we had that trimmed back, and John Tower allowed us to go ahead with that because the plants needed to be put in the ground. They were on site, and they needed to be survive, so they were installed. And, John was okay with that as long as we...
By necessity.
So that's also been done. It's after the
I'm so
fact.
sorry. Forgive me. Where this patio that you're talking about right now is underneath the mechanical equipment over on the west side of the property, under the equipment corral. Is that what you're talking about?
Let me show you a drawing.
I just want to make sure I understand we're talking about the right patios because
Yes. So you can see it there.
Mr. Ogle,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams would like to recuse himself at this time as
to
he's
our relationship.
associated with your firm.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm going to step out until this is.
Okay. Thanks, Bill. See you tomorrow. I won't tell the boss you're moonlighting in the city.
You are not allowed to leave.
I got to leave.
I guess, so back to my question. So I'm not clear exactly where the proposed new patio is. I see existing patios.
And they
Okay,
ripped up.
if I could interrupt while you're considering Mr. Cummings' question. We normally poll the commissioners as to whether they've made a site visit. Now, this is a little different because the property is largely not visible from the street, and we've not been invited to enter the property. But I want to confirm that all of you, of course, have walked by or driven by many times, and you're familiar at least with the street facade.
Yeah, and I also, I think that there's a lot of information here. I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right place on the map. for,
Yeah, no, but I think it's
on the
just
plans.
important that we enter into the record that we all know the location and the building, but only, excuse me, from the public face of the building.
Walked by tonight.
Good,
It's looking
all the
good.
better.
jump the fence?
Yeah, I jumped the fence. I was looking for the hot tub.
Yeah. Huh, Mary.
So where it says remove existing bluestone pavers, cut back edge of existing patio for new plantings, and then under the mechanical, is that what we're talking about right now?
That's right. Yes, that's its own screen there.
So this specific patio for .5 is talking about expanding the patio underneath the mechanical and where those plantings were? And where the bluestone pavers were?
Excuse me, say that again?
So point number 5 here.
Yeah, trim
For the
back edge.
proposed cutting back edge of existing brick patio. So what you're proposing is, so you're not adding new patio, you're proposing to cut back existing
Yes,
patio?
we're cutting, you're just trimming the edge so those plantings could be put in place in the ground. The patio was slightly in the way, it was a little compressed, and so it's after the fact, it's already been done.
Okay. Okay, so this is a retroactive approval that's being, okay.
It was part of an administrative approval on the utility screening for the utility area and the utility equipment. You saw it, it needed some screening.
And the plantings were already done, the new plantings?
Yes, the
Okay.
plantings, everything's installed. and-
Were the comments here that were received regarding the removal of some of the plants causing extra runoff, was that prior to the plants being put in? Do we know about chronological order? Because
I think that comment is related to further down the lot, I think. But a lot happened here. As I said, this is a fast-track project, and
well, one of the things I'm thinking about is it seems like increased plantings might mitigate some of the concerns of the neighbors. So I was curious if this was an increased planting from what had been potentially proposed previously, or if this was already in place, maybe new additional plantings can be looked at.
There were a couple of rounds during the administrative application to increase plantings, and we had McHale Landscape, Hans Leinberger working on it. And we first came up with a group of plantings. It seemed not to be enough. Hans came back with additional plantings and really went at it. So that area is very well vegetated and buffered now. And
Thank you.
probably photo if you. Any further questions on trimming the patio?
How many more items do you have to cover?
Two.
Okay?
Next.
Yeah, I'm just,
Number 6 was the parking that's been eliminated from the application. Number 7 are the repairs to the chimneys, the chimney caps. Get a picture of the chimneys. This is, these are the two chimneys in question with the arrows pointing to them. You have an inboard chimney, which is shared. The flues are shared by number 112 and number 114. There's 4 flues for each house on the shared chimney. I would let Mark Hall talk to the condition of the chimney here, but there is need for addressing the wear and weathering at the very cap. Mark, would you tell them what the...
So we had a drone go up there and do some photographing and discovered that the cap on the crown on the top of the brick was failing on the driveway side chimney and the inboard side chimney. So the proposal is to, on the driveway side chimney, is to remove the metal cap that we see there. That flue no longer is being used. And we would cap that with a small piece of bluestone and then parge over top the whole, make the whole crown whole again. Right now, the crown's very deteriorated.
and that chimney, though, is owned solely by the applicant.
Yes. That's the driveway side. That's
the
chimney right there.
Is there like an easement in place because it's shared flues, or?
Yeah.
On the other side, Historic Annapolis does have an easement.
That's this one. This is the shared chimney, and
And do you have the authority to alter that chimney?
it is written in the plans. There's a note to seek the written permission of the owner of 112.
But you do not have that permission at this time.
Well,
Not
I
at
think
this
their
time.
comment was they recommend against it until their chimney issues are resolved. Are you aware of what their chimney issues are?
Yes, yeah, we're still working our way through that.
Okay. I mean, is that something where if we were to say approved subject to, neighbors' approval, I mean, is that would have to be done? I mean,
I think because other items will likely be coming back, we might want to reserve having a vote on that because there are so many issues surrounding it. And the neighbor is here, but the neighbor also already wrote the comment, and I think it's plain that they are not going to approve the work. They require her approval to do the work. I think HA has an easement on it. They will likely not grant the approval from an easement standpoint. Is that correct? Yeah, so it's really, in so many ways, it's a moot point.
Well, Ms. Brown is here, and I assume you wish to speak? Yeah, so we'll wait for that, okay?
well, also to your point, if voting on it wouldn't even give you the ability to do it, maybe it is worth tabling that as well. Not to quiet comment or anything, but just for the sake of.
That would be the decision of the applicant, but I was not understanding exactly how they would get to do the work. There's one flue on the driveway side that they would like to address. I don't know if they want to withdraw for these others.
Is the one
would
that
be
you
your
had
call.
recommended against approval the one on the driveway side? Or
So I have to say, I'm from a guideline standpoint, everything that I think should be done with a flue is that a flue should be left in a position to breathe, not take in water, but at least to express water vapor. And because we don't want to promote its deterioration. So at least in past practice, it's always been to choose a crown that had some breathability and that was reversible. But that's not exactly what's proposed here. So it's a different approach, which I, in my professional career, would not have taken. I would have taken a different path.
did the applicant explore other paths for that chimney specifically?
I think there's a little confusion about the flues themselves. We're not trying to mess with these flues. We're trying to cap below them on top of the chimney with a
Like a flashing?
mortar bed that has pitch to it so that it would shed water and not collect there, freeze, and do damage.
Is that a flashing below the top, or is it a cap, like almost a shelter on top of?
It's a crown masonry cap. Basically, it's parging.
But that was something that Mr. Tower had said that he preferred an alternate path forward. I mean, did they explore alternate paths for that crown?
Mr. Tower wants to tell us what he's talking about. I'd be happy to listen to it, but I'm not sure exactly what he's saying.
You're talking about right now requires you to do something to another.
Well,
We're
this
not
chimney's
talking
the
about
other
that
one.
job. We're talking about the single flue that we're going to cap on the driveway side.
What were the plans for the shared chimney, the party chimney?
Just to restore the crown.
Right, the mortar between the flue.
The crown's falling apart. And
So
we-
you can see that the flues protrude up through the top of the chimney, and then there's a mortar bed on that, below the tops of the flues, on top of the chimney itself, not the flues, the chimney. That's what we would like to fix or repair so that it.
The terracotta-looking part?
No, below it, right?
The concrete
right
part.
there, that whitish, right there, the cap, the snow cap. There, I've got that
What happens to them
mouse
over
on.
time is they deteriorate and crack. Water gets in, they crack more. and they-
Where?
You're still talking about something that is shared property.
No, this one's not the shared one.
There's a single that is not shared.
It's the same on both of them.
That is a shared chimney. This is the driveway side chimney. You can see that crown there is deteriorated and gone. The flues here, and I think this is what John was talking about, they've already been sealed. They were, Mark, can you know when they were sealed, or it looks like ages ago? So you can see that they are capped, they are sealed. The actual flue extensions are gone. They're not even there.
Is the crown being proposed going to materially change the condition there? Yeah, I guess, the materials being used, are they different than the materials that have been used in the past for that crown?
This would be an approved mortar, approved by the commission, that we've used for repointing and other.
Wait, what looks like this one's been repaired before, you're saying that this is just a continuation of past repairs? Like, you wouldn't be doing anything different?
Typically, people get up there and they parge back over top of what's cracked.
But specifically for this chimney, that's what's been done? Is that in alignment with your perspective?
Well, it isn't, but they're just proposing work on a single flue that is no longer in use. So I'm saying let it breathe. I believe old houses need to breathe. They're used to breathing. This one's been used to breathing for 260 years.
Are there problems that
So, well, if you
crown is-
close it up, condensation forms inside it, and it has nowhere to go. These are closed airways, essentially.
What's the intention behind this part of the application?
Keep weather out, and what they're trying to do is stabilize, I think, the chimney, and I understand it because it's been done before. But in terms of how I would characterize this approach is as difficult as it is to get up there, it is the most direct and the least expensive. And I don't think that it necessarily bodes well for the life of the chimney, but look at all those capped flues that are already in place. So I don't know what it's doing to the rest of the house. But
Is there any
in practice, I
damage
would
that's
never have done
occurring?
it myself.
Is there any damage that's occurring right now? Is this aesthetic repair, or is there a reason for there to be?
Prevent the bricks from loosening up and becoming, falling off, yeah.
But purely preventative for the future, there's no existing imminent issue?
I'm sure we haven't really, put our hands right on it, but as the photographs depict, I'm sure there's some loose mortar up there and there's probably some loose bricks up there.
Describe the report from the chimney expert, what he said.
It was pretty.
Who is he?
Minimal.
The chimney expert.
There was complete chimneys, there was Santa chimneys.
These are chimney sweeps that go up and deal with chimneys for their,
Mostly what they're gonna do is fly a drone over it, show it, say, this is a repair for this application. John's right, that's all boilerplate stuff for them. They basically just cover them up.
In my opinion, I personally don't have a problem with you guys doing what's already been done to this exact chimney to repair, but if there's no imminent problem, since there is, differing opinions on how it should be approached, I don't know that there's any urgency around this component, but.
I'm not so much concerned about what they do here. I think you've articulated.
Well, if we
It's
can
the other
separate
one.
something out, I want to be able to help push something forward, and that's kind of what I was getting at, is if there's a problem, maybe we can keep this as a separate part, but it doesn't seem like there is a problem, and it doesn't seem like there's a consensus on how to approach.
It's got a cap that breathes on it right now.
It does.
And
We could just leave it alone.
right.
I mean,
But the crown still needs to be repaired. The crown's falling apart.
and what we wanted to do was take that metal cap or flame shield, spark shield off, and make it a consistent cap all the way across the chimney. And this is where some of the confusion came in. There was a piece of bluestone. There would be a piece of slate or bluestone thin to just lay over the opening of that one flue, which was an old boiler flue. It's no longer, it's been discontinued. So there's nothing coming out of those chimneys. And we would remove that metal cap, we would lay the slate over the open flue, and then mortar on top of the slate or thin bluestone. We're talking thin 3/4 maximum, if slate thinner. Then lay the mortar crown with an approved mortar. And also, Mark, I believe there was repointing and brick repair as the masons or the chimney experts were up there fixing, to examine any brick in the vicinity of the cap, repoint and repair. And that's been consistent along this project. We've done extensive masonry repairs to all facade, street front, side, and rear. Extensive brick repairing, lintel repairing. There was quite a bit of damage, and we got to it and fixed it.
Mr. Ogle, is there another item that you want to discuss?
There is. There's one last item. It's lawn
Irrigation
sprinklers.
system.
What?
The irrigation.
Sprinkler system for the lawn. McHale Landscapes would like to install a automatic sprinkler system to water the grass that's been installed. The owners installed sod to replace some of the issues with gravel and stuff that had been put on the site during construction. That was removed and sod was put down. Sod needs a lot of water. There are also a lot of new plantings in the flower beds, and we just want to keep this stuff alive. So we would like to install a automatic sprinkler system. Part of this is after the fact. It's my understanding that some of this has already been put in. So,
Yeah, it was in the process of being installed.
and we would have an archaeologist monitor the completion of what's left to do. We had him on site, Mr. Joe Gibb, to monitor the driveway or the gravel parking construction entrance removed. We had our archaeologist on site during that. We would do the same here.
Okay, are there any other questions from the commissioners for the applicant's representative? If not, before I ask for the staff's comments and recommendation, the longer that we talk about this, the more concerned I get. There seems to be more things that are unresolved, that you don't have complete information, and that you did before you had the proper approvals. So I'm becoming a little uneasy about acting on this one way or the other.
We do have a sprinkler plan, if you'd like to see it, and specs on the sprinkler heads.
I'd like to hear from Mr. Tower, please.
I believe that, let me see, certain items, for the sake of, let's say, how should I put this? Tying loose ends should be considered for approval. The bluestone path, the brickwork in front, it's already in place. The replacement of the fence in the front and the gate, they were there. They were probably there for the last 60, maybe 70 years, maybe even longer. Let me see, bluestone, the irrigation system, as long as it's monitored by an archaeologist, I'm reluctantly willing to approve it. I don't like those systems. They're a lot like old cable going to a house. Once one system fails, a new landscaper will come in and put in another. You know, maybe 1,000 years from now, someone will think, an archaeologist will think that's very, very significant. They had two. Anyway, but these are changes. And the new owner is interested in changing things. And that's what
Michael is here for, and then also Mark. And it's been a big project, and I'm going to say exceedingly difficult from staff's standpoint, probably from both of their standpoints too, with a lot of contention. Just looking at the HVAC systems, I had PTSD. This was rough going. So the neighbors are concerned in turn, and I think they're going to speak tonight. And now you probably understand better why they are concerned.
I do.
So, but there are some things that I think can be or possibly should be approved, especially because they're approval after the fact. They're already there.
I think that's well taken, at least by me. I don't, the other commissioners, do you agree?
I have one question. I thought you were asking not to put the fence in the front back, the gate. And John, it sounds like you're saying we should approve them putting it back.
They are planning to do it. That is the proposal.
You want to put it back?
To return it.
Yes.
Okay, I
Reinstall.
misunderstood.
Yeah.
I think there are people out in the audience that have been.
Real quick, I just want to chime in. So make sure I understand correctly, Mr. Tower here. So of the 8 points, and I think you all withdrew 2 of them, but I just want to confirm, my understanding is point number 1, which was the proposed front driveway, iron metal gate and fence reinstallation. Point number 2, proposed expansion of front parking, paving area, and in place of planter box. Point number 3, proposed rear basement door landing stone pavers. Point number 5, cutting back edge of existing brick patio. Point number 8, the irrigation system. Those are what
And
you're...
6, the bluestone landing and walkway.
So that was deleted. Wait, no, 6 is the rear parking. 6 was deleted.
On
So-
the original, yeah.
So point number 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 are what you feel is appropriate to go forward for approval, subject to the archaeological oversight. Is that correct? And we would remove the
Front
rear
planter, iron gate, trim edge of existing brick pathway, install bluestone landing and walkway, install lawn sprinkler for rear yard areas.
Okay, and the reason I want to do that before public comment, I just want to be clear. From my understanding, and this is to the public as well, there's a lot of comments on, rear parking area and hot tub, and there's several comments on chimney. So if we are looking at just point 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8, which does not address rear parking, it does not address hot tub, it does not address chimney, it sounds like there might be a path forward here. And for the sake of time, maybe if the applicant chose to withdraw all 3 of those, I think 2 of them are already, then, the discussion can be focused on the other points. And when the public comes up, because we've read a lot of these comments, if it's possible to just keep it on point number 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8 and avoid rear parking, avoid hot tub, avoid chimney for the sake of time, since it sounds like that would be best to be withdrawn. But that's just my comment for efficiency of public
I
comment.
agree with you. I think that's a very articulate and reasonable way to proceed, given the hour, given the number of people that seem to be here to offer their comments. But we don't need to hear comments on something that's been withdrawn.
Well, there's one addition, the chimney, I think, would still need to be withdrawn. If the chimney's withdrawn, I think rear parking, hot tub, and chimney.
We'll withdraw.
We would like to withdraw the chimney caps from the application.
And just from opinion, I don't know that there's this huge problem with the chimney ideas. I think it sounds like Mr. Tower's ideas of how it should be better done, and you definitely need neighbor on board. But I feel like if those are accomplished, I don't see any huge resistance.
I agree. I just think the neighbor, I can't imagine how we would approve something when it's co-owned and the neighbor doesn't approve.
Yeah.
Our approval, if we gave it, would be meaningless, because the neighbors certainly would have legal recourse.
So to the public, I think we all heard you all loud and clear on hot tub, rear parking, and chimney. So if there's any other comments, that's what I would be curious to hear.
Okay, at this time, John, if you want to say anything else, if not, we'll open the public hearing.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I've known Mark since I think I was 5, and I've known Michael since
17 or was it 19? Anyway, we go back a long way, and these guys have tried to do for this house what they were asked to do. And I'm not going to say that this was an easy project, and I'm guessing that it wasn't necessarily an easy client. But here we are, and I think that we need greater detail for any of the 3 items that have been removed for consideration tonight.
Mr. Chair, before you move to public comment, there is Rule 5.5, which allows not only the applicant, but all other interested persons and organizations the opportunity to introduce evidence, present testimony under oath, and to present legal argument. And individuals or organizations with standing related to a specific application may ask questions of the applicant, staff, and any other witnesses presenting testimony. And the commissioners may ask questions of that participant as well. So just wanted to ask the chair to see if there was anyone in that position who wanted to present, a party in opposition. Not a party, an individual.
Yeah.
If it's possible to just keep it on the 5 items remaining, not the 3 removed, for the
We
sake of
can
time.
ask that indulgence, but I don't think we can enforce that, can we?
Sure you can. Yeah, sure you can.
Okay.
It's withdrawn, I believe. That's what's stated on the record, so we won't.
Okay.
Good suggestion.
Because we got another long application tonight, too.
Yeah. Yes, we have another way to go. With that advice from our attorney, is there any member of the public that would fit the definition of having standing and would like to make a presentation to us? Or ask questions of the applicant?
Just on the 5 points.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Trip Fulton. I'm an attorney for protestant John Richards. We did have questions on a number of issues that have now been withdrawn, so we don't actually have any questions at this time. I will reserve the right for my client, John, to present just like all the other folks here in the public that have some sort of presentation to offer.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Is there anyone else who has standing and represents an organization or an individual that wants to speak? Please come forward.
I just wanted to clarify, we won't be examining or asking questions. I think the folks still want to offer presentation.
Of course.
But just in terms of standing and questions, that we don't have any questions now that these materials have been withdrawn.
By presentation, do you mean public comments? Okay, public comments, okay. All right.
Sure. Identify yourself, please.
I'm Mary Leary, and I live at 112 Duke of Gloucester, which is the townhouse immediately adjacent to the applicant. I just have a question about the installation of the irrigation system. I heard that an archaeologist will consult or oversee.
Monitor, that's the condition.
Okay, because I had read that there's perhaps 2 approaches to monitoring. One's high level and one is maybe more involved. And the reason I'm asking is that you may or may not know that the home in which I live, Slayton House, had a very comprehensive archaeological dig that was undertaken 20 plus years ago, and they found thousands of objects in the garden and within the home. And being immediately adjacent to that of the applicant, I can't help but think that there are probably some artifacts that might date back in a similar fashion. They found artifacts dating back to the early 1700s, well before the townhouses were built. So I would just like to emphasize the importance of having an archaeologist closely supervised to help ensure that if anything is there beneath the soil, as it was on my property, that it's carefully managed.
We require that of any land disturbance in the historic district when an application, in fact, creates that situation.
Are there different tiers?
In this case, this is a strong condition.
Are there different tiers for archaeological supervision?
Well, there are, but honestly, I have to say, I don't know how far down they're going.
Okay.
I mean, don't they have to be 18 inches below isn't that the rule for digs?
Right, about 18 inches, right.
My understanding was like 6 to 8 inches for the sprinkler pipes, because they all get blown clear.
Right, so wherever they dig, they will be monitored.
Yeah,
right.
That's the condition.
Can't dig and not be monitored.
But per the public comment, is there any specification that we should be considering for the archaeological supervision?
Well, I'm going to say it's a limited scope of digging. Jim Gibb is an archaeologist who is respected, and I've hired him myself in a past life when I was required to do archaeology. He's
comfortable with the condition as you wrote it.
Yeah, and they'll hire him again, and my guess is they're going to find something. There's going to be something there.
Don't toss something over the fence. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Is there anyone who wishes to make public comment? Given the hour, please try to be brief. I will not set a specific time limit.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the commission. And given the developments of the evening, I had come prepared with a substantial amount of material, which I will not burden you with tonight. I did want to just say a couple of things, however, overall. So I live at Right Out House next door.
Before you say more?
Yep. John Richards. I swear to tell the truth. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
There's 7 properties here. I mean, there's 7 identified historic resources by the Maryland Historic Trust. It's not just the 3 tenement houses. I call them tenements because that's what my 5th great-grandfather called them when he built them. There's the coach house, there's my house, there's the doctor's office. There's also the shed in the back, which is separately identified by the Maryland Historic Trust with its own supplemental description. And one of the things I'd like, frankly, to convey to the owners of this of 114 is that, when people come to our house, and they do, garden clubs, horticulturalists, preservation organizations, scholars, school children, they regularly visit us and they marvel at the open space and shared landscaping behind the Right Out group of historic properties. It's the shared landscaping of these historic gardens that is a national treasure and one of the reasons why they are resources of national significance. And I wish I could convey to the new owners how visitors marvel at the historic brick flooring that they propose to cover with hot tub, and the joy of showing them the truly unique and authentic things which are historic and cannot be found in the innumerable modern homes with saunas and hot tubs and all of that. This is a unique piece of property, a unique group of open space, there's a risk of sacrificing the priceless for the mundane. I really urge my new neighbors, who I've never met yet, to give some consideration to the culture and values of preservation, which has made this block so treasured. And, I would say, for 250 years, we haven't had to irrigate, our lawn at all. When we had to do some repairs to our 2 brick chimneys, all of them are open. All of the flues are working, and that was done very deliberately and with the best possible advice. And I think that they should take some really detailed preservation advice on how to preserve these magnificent chimneys on that row of houses. And anyway, I don't want to belabor the point, and hopefully I won't have to come back to oppose future applications that hopefully they'll have seen the wisdom of their ways. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for the exhibits that you shared as well,
Yeah,
John. Those
very-
were all read. So
Very valuable. Is there anyone else who wishes, from the public?
Hold on, you read all 84 pages that they sent yesterday afternoon? 84 pages?
AI, John. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, it was a 4-page memo. It did have some attachments. The application was 41 pages.
Just
but-
what, items A through E? Okay.
I read them all. I did. I'm retired. Well, what else am I going to do with my time?
Someone printed them out for you.
What?
I said, someone printed them out for you.
Yes, but I read them.
Right.
Their effort was utilized. Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Brown?
Yes, hi, Commissioners, Chair Scott, Karen Timer-Brown, President CEO of Historic Annapolis. Thank you for allowing me to testify. Swear to tell the truth.
Thank you.
Most of my comments were directed to the items that were removed, so thank you for being so intentional about that. I do want to recognize, and I know it's been mentioned earlier, that Historic Annapolis does hold an easement on 112 Duke of Gloucester Street, the Slayton House. That easement's been in place since 2000, and it covers both the interior and exterior of the property and the surrounding site. The easement specifically states this property has great historic value, is an outstanding example of late 18th century architecture. And I just want to mention that throughout the review process, we weigh into whenever there's any changes that affect that particular property, both the historic nature and character of the property. It's worth noting that Historic Annapolis holds about 50 easements of the 1,500 properties in the historic district. And it's interesting to note for this one how specific the easement is, which I think again reinforces the high level of significance of this property. The easement specifies that no alterations can be made to the fabric that predates 1915, including the paving in the cellar floor and the passageway out the back door servicing the 2 outbuildings and in the exterior brickwork. So again, it just kind of reinforces the high level of significance associated with that property. I too want to recognize and state that I respect Mr. Hall and Mr. Ogle, and I recognize that the work that they've done throughout the historic district and working on some historic Annapolis properties. Agree with the staff report, and again, thank you for removing those 3 items. Those were the central focus of our testimony. As far as the chimneys go, I recommend you can look at best practices, the work that we're doing at the Bryce House and Ray Canetti and some expert masons on what's the appropriate treatment for highly significant properties like this. And then just closing by stating that, these are contributing items to the National Historic Landmark District, but I would actually argue that they could possibly be eligible individually as NHLs. They are this original intact natural terrace landscape is what the Peka Garden wishes it was, original and also very character defining and dates to the Georgian period. So those are my comments, and look forward to continued testimony, and thank you all, commissioners and chair, for all the service you do for our community.
Thank you. May I ask you a question that's kind of
course.
picayune, and it's not directly germane, but I hope it will be of general interest.
Okay.
I was just in Edinburgh for a few days, and all the chimney pots, most of the chimney pots from the 18th century in the Old Town seem to be intact. Do you know if that's the fact or not?
Oh, gosh, I have no idea.
Okay.
But I will inquire of the masons working on our team. But 18th century pots from Edinburgh.
Yes, thank you.
I'll find
I
out.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else in the public wishes to make a statement? Okay. Or do you have further questions, or do you want to make your statement on the application?
I have a very brief statement, very, very brief. And it's basically a request of the applicant to consider installing a boxed tree in the parkway to replace the quote historic tree that was removed. There are local and federal standards that talk about the human scale of landscaping in front of historic homes. And these are 5-story townhouses, so I think replacing the parkway tree that had been there before would help bring down the scale to a more human level. And I understand that trees can be boxed these days to help mitigate roots from spreading. I wish they had done that with the tree that was replaced in front of my home, because my foundation also suffered damage from roots. But if a box tree can work, I would request that the applicant consider proposing that. Thank you.
On that, would that be a part of the points in the application tonight, or would that be a separate?
That is separate. There is no replanting of the tree in this application. Great idea, and it's called a Silvacell, and it's a wonderful thing. Totally overpriced.
But nothing that we're voting on tonight would either allow that to happen or stop that from happening. Is that accurate?
Typically planting a tree frequently can be an administrative approval if you're replacing in kind and the tree is being taken down. So for instance, tonight we didn't hear about the replacements for what's coming down on Prince George Street, but there are replacements in mind.
So if we didn't pay respect to that comment tonight, that wouldn't stop that comment from being reintroduced in a future application? I just want to make sure. Okay.
No, it's not on the table.
Because I like that idea as well, and I just wanted to make sure that it was a part of what we were thinking about.
Is that the city's responsibility rather than a homeowner?
Well, typically, yes. Yeah.
Do it if you request it.
Yeah, Silvacell is the equivalent of a hot tub for a tree, but just for its roots. That's honestly what it looks like. And they're $60,000 for I don't know what reason, but they do contain the roots, which would be a great thing in front of these houses.
Yeah.
Because these houses really heat up. If you've been on a scaffolding in front of them in the afternoon, it is hot.
Okay, well, I think we've really looked at this carefully, and I think we've come to a place where we can at least move some forward.
I just want to offer one final comment. I think I have a lot of empathy towards homeowners in Annapolis. Replacing, repairing, historic homes is really hard. So I always try to look at ways that we can try to compromise. But when you purchase a home like this one, I think extra scrutiny is required. And so I think I'm really happy that we have that scrutiny here. You guys are up here doing the presenting and getting everybody yelling at you. And I feel it's funny because you're not the bad guys. You're the ones who are just hired to do the work and trying to do the best you can. So I just want to say thank you all for everything that you're doing here, Mr. Hall, Mr. Ogle, and to the homeowners. I hope you guys are listening. I don't know if you're here or go on, but I think we'd love to see a lot of great things happen here in the right way. When you purchase a home like this, it comes with extra scrutiny. So.
Let me second that, and I wrote it in the staff report. Mark is always on the job site. He is present. He is not phoning it in, and Michael is always available. So, despite the different things that we had to deal with, they were always there.
Well, I think we've all understood that by now and gotten to know you and work with you successfully. So why don't we go ahead and do what we can to move this project forward?
I don't mind attempting the thing here. So in the matter of MB3, I motion to...
I'm sorry, just one moment. So are you closing the public hearing?
I am.
You did? Okay. And you all should have some deliberations before motions. If you don't have any, that's fine, but
We already sort of went around, but you're right, we should. Is,
Like we did on each of the
I
issues.
do too.
Feel like we've
Yeah.
deliberated.
I think we didn't.
My impatience, I think I probably cut.
We
cut the
didn't
line
sort
on
of
that.
do step by step, what do you think, what do you think, what do you think? But I feel like we've discussed it also.
In the matter of MB3, there are 8 points, a part of the application, 3 of which are withdrawn. So I move to approve per the staff recommendation, points number 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8, subject to the condition of archaeological oversight.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen. More to be done, but you got something to work on now.
Thank you. We appreciate your time tonight. Good night.
Thank you. Okay.
can you tell
Thank you all.
Commissioner Williams to come back in? When you go out, he's
Thank you for
he's straight out, though.
being on your feet as usual.
Hey, John,
Yes.
do we have much that we want to put on to the next meeting other than the review of the historical apparatus for the city dock area? Is there anything
Oh,
else?
the next meeting is 2 things. The next meeting is City Dock Cultural Landscape. This is the administrative meeting. I think you all will find that very interesting. And Brendan, you worked on that, right? I did. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of good material there.
Yes.
Happy to see it. And then the other one is St. John's plans for the future. And I think
Work session.
Yes, these are both pre-applications, just familiarizing
Yes.
commissioners with them, and they're both interesting.
Yeah. What would you say, Mr. Fishback, given the hour?
Move through the application pretty quickly.
Where are the rest of the commissioners? We have to wait for them. Sure you couldn't delay for a couple of weeks?
When is the next Thursday?
It's a week from Thursday, isn't it, John? John?
24th?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, our administrative meeting is the 24th, 23rd.
I thought it was the 23rd. Right. Yeah.
It's entirely up to you. I'm not pressuring you at all. I'm not going to.
All pressure.
I'm not going to think evil of you.
Right.
But, we've been here a while. I think we're going to have to discuss your project a little bit too.
Go through the presentation part and continue this if possible.
I wouldn't do that because I'm not going to remember every inflection, every
Does
question.
it totally screw them over if we push off to September?
Yeah.
Well, that's the next meeting, right?
Do we have an August meeting?
No, we don't meet in August. That's why we're trying to get these things through.
Right.
It would be a significant detriment if it was pushed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't mind sitting here for it. I'm not trying to hurt any homeowner. They spend a lot of time on this, but up to you guys.
We can't
I mean,
do it
obviously, I'd love
next
to not have this, but I'm not trying to screw over a homeowner that, just got pushed to the end of the line.
Person or is it virtual?
It would be virtual.
Wait, is this administrative or a vote?
No, next.
No,
We're talking about
no.
next.
Our next meeting
They're all
is a
virtual.
routine administrative
But this is a
meeting, which
hearing that you're, right now, right?
Correct.
Okay.
do hearings remotely. Remotely. Yeah.
Let's
That's-
do it.
that's
Before
legal.
September?
Well, let's
Could we
do it
do a
next
hearing
week.
before September?
No, there's no meetings in August.
We don't have meetings.
No
in
meetings in
August.
August.
No, but next week. We could do it in the administrative meeting, couldn't we?
We have to look and see what's on the agenda, but probably.
Just had 2 short.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? 'Cause I was
small-
out.
Yeah,
Oh, is that something we can do, a public
Yeah, we can
hearing
do that.
during the administrative slot?
we can do a public hearing anytime we want, can't we?
As long as you,
Advertise.
Announce it.
Yeah.
With 1 week's notice, is that appropriate?
I think it's 7 days, but it was already, I guess it was already advertised for this, so it could just be carried over.
Yeah, we
You guys
can-
could
we
start
can-
it and it's carried over to the next meeting. so
Continuation.
It's it would be a continuation. Go ahead and call the matter, as I would say in court, but go ahead
But is
and,
is
you
the
know,
applicant opposed to it being heard later in July?
they're here, put it on the record that they're here, who's here, and then adjourn it till the next.
Yes, there you go.
Then you won't.
Got it?
Is it 7 o'clock also? Are they?
Yes, 7. 7 is
On
our.
Thursday, though, not Tuesday, right?
Yes, Thursday the 23rd.
23rd.
I vote to say yes to that. Next Thursday.
If the applicant's not opposed to that,
We're not opposed to that. That's.
Yeah, there you go, okay.
Better, we'd be fresh then. It's hard
Please,
to,
please identify yourself
what do you?
for the record.
Next Thursday? Yes.
Andrew Fishback with Hammond Wilson Architects.
Bob Ruby, Campion Ruby Landscape Architects.
Okay,
and these poor guys, they waited all night.
they're getting paid for it.
All right, charge them double. No, I'm kidding.
So, gentlemen, you agree that we will continue your application until the 23rd at our regularly scheduled administrative meeting, but we will have a public hearing. People will be able to ask questions and express opinions.
So it's going to be a remote public hearing. We've done it before.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay,
I mean, were there any members of the public that were here that waited all this time to?
John Richards would like to speak on this application.
oh, John, you want to
But he
speak?
can speak next week, right?
Yeah,
come back.
Yeah, he can come back.
As long as you can, okay.
Did you hear that, John?
I guess I will come back.
Okay.
Virtual, virtual.
Yeah,
Next
okay.
week.
Next Thursday night.
Yeah, well, I was going to be in Maine, but,
No, you could
But you
be
can do
in Maine.
virtual.
It's remote.
oh, okay, lovely, thank you.
have the internet in Maine.
Yeah, it was ironic that both the Ogle Hall and the Rideout Garden were on the docket for tonight for similar reasons, so.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Thank everyone for your indulgence. Much appreciated, especially by the chair.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Is there a motion for adjournment?
You guys get hazard pay when you come to these meetings?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.
I came back just for that.